Yes, right. She lives in the now. So here, oh, there is Sheena. Ding, 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 ding. Sheena, we're glad you joined us, Sheena.
Good
Anya
morning,
from
Sheena.
Good morning. How's everyone?
Oh,
Great.
fantastic. Couldn't pee better.
Nice.
So Anya is joining us from Germany right now. And
Hi guys.
Hi,
Hi.
Anya. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I already saw you on video.
Oh, have you?
go
I
ahead.
look good, right?
Go ahead. Get acquainted. I already know you guys.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's I'm very happy to participate in person. I was traveling last week, and yeah, great to be member of our group.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome home.
Mm.
So I'm going to ask Monica, since she's got this gorgeous goblet. Show us your wine glass. Would you give us the honors of saying a communion statement prayer or something to open up this class?
Oh, okay. Well, I am so grateful to have rediscovered this elixir of life and youth produced by our own body. Like, it is so liberating to know that everything I need, I have, literally. We don't need anything else but this beautiful colored golden elixir of life and youth. And we're so grateful for it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Wow. So I hope you guys had the last couple of days went really well for you.
Yeah,
Did you
I
get-
am totally at peace.
You. I can feel you. Yeah. And that's your natural state. Feeling relaxed, feeling like you're in the flow, feeling unconcerned or affected by what's going on in the movie called life, or what you see out in the world, and able to be present and available for people who show up in your life.
Yeah, I had an interesting encounter just yesterday with used to be a good friend, but as things have gone in the last couple of years, people drift away. And yeah, it's just, if you speak your truth and if you speak out about things, some people don't like it, even close friends, And it came to me, I had this epiphany that it is my ego that is pissed off and, at people or situations or circumstances. My heart is love, is at peace. It's, it's good with whatever is going on. It had to happen, So, yeah.
So that's one
Wanted
of
to share that.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you for speaking from your heart.
Mhm.
That is a common reply from people. It's a side effect of drinking your water. And people normally approach, and I had this talk with you, Anya, earlier. People seem to approach their health from the programming they had about the medical model and from school and from the media, until we reorient our thinking to look within. Well, we see, well, the body does a pretty darn good job if we'll not punish it. If we'll nurture it and love it and respect it, it can do some amazing things that people call miracles. And so what we're having to learn is to trust this water. Don't make it such a complicated thing that, you have to be rocket science. That you can just simply use your intuition, which is your guidance system, and do quite well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, combined with a focused attention, we truly can do miracles.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, when you build this into your lifestyle, you already know what your go-to is. When you have a scratch, when you have a cut, you have a sting, you have a hair thing, you got a mouth thing, your aches in the knee, the back, you got your go-to. Go to your first aid kit. It's called your bladder, and take out your medicine and get to work.
1 second, guys. I have to attend to a phone call. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So right now my housemates are gone for 3 days, and when my housemates go away, the house becomes a full-out Shivambhu salon and spa. I mean, I've already done an enema. I did the bath. I've massaged my body, eyes, ears, whatever. And as the day goes on, I'm going to be doing more protocols. I'm also working on a book, so I don't have a lot of distractions today. It's snowing, so good excuse. So here's some of the questions. Sheena, when I started to tell Monica's, after doing quite a few interviews with different people in this movement, I have questions on questions on questions for people. So I'm just going to throw some at you, and you can answer them or not answer them. That's up to you. Number one, did it take much to convince you that drinking pee is okay, natural, beneficial, medicinal, and healthy for you?
No, I knew it was truly guided. I was being truly guided. So it was just that first initial few hours where I had to process it in my mind and and dove in. Yeah.
All right. Did you have a defining moment where you're going, this is crazy. This is crazy. I know this is crazy, but I'm going to do this. They look early. What the fuck? Here goes.
Yeah. And I had a few moments where when I was trying the first morning where I did gag, there was a couple moments where it was like, what the hell? It was that mind barrier that I was breaking.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. I listened to this spiritual teacher the other day, and he says this whole realm is consciousness, right? It's all mind, and how wherever you are in consciousness will determine your experience in any one moment.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like it, you just change your mind.
Yeah.
Change your thoughts. That way, you're never going to play the victim.
Yeah.
All right, here's another good question. Let's go to another page. Did you ever feel discouraged when you started your Shivambhu journey? Ever had any doubts that UT was helping or that you could keep up this practice?
No doubts. Just going with the flow and trusting. Yeah.
Interesting. Good answer. Can you ever foresee yourself ending this practice?
No.
No.
Okay. We're going to have to get one of those tattoos.
Right.
Have you seen the alchemical symbol for urine?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a square with a dot in the middle.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Dr. Rosalind Hanson, this naturopath, this herbal wizard, she showed up at the symposium in Las Vegas in 2018, and she's got one right here on her arm.
Nice.
And she tells a story about she's been drinking her pee since she was 9 years old, and the gal's 49.
Wow.
So
she probably looks like 20.
She looks great, and yeah, every time she talked, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. What? That's great. That's great.
What is her name? Sorry.
I'll type it in there for you.
Yeah.
She's a great resource. I've learned a lot from her. Dr. Rosalind Hanson. I don't know if I spelled it right, but she's on Facebook, and I'm not sure what other social media apps. If you get lost, I'll screenshot her Facebook page and send it to you.
I don't do Facebook.
Yeah, neither do I.
Well, if we can find her on Instagram, do you do any of the social media things other than the hut?
Telegram,
yeah.
Okay.
Or Signal. Is that a social media? Signal?
Signal might be. There is no worst case scenario. I can always get you her email and phone number, and you could take it from there.
But you know what I think truly, like all these these platforms come out of the same tech hubs, you know?
Mhm.
I don't think some are a little more lenient than
Well, it's
others, but
obvious when you see the brand Meta. It's on
mm,
Facebook, it's on Instagram. You realize they own all these, but they pretend to be different. Like when you go to different health food stores and they're all owned by Whole Foods, but they're called little private names. They
yeah.
did this in Boulder. Whole Foods bought out Ideal Market, and so that people wouldn't lose the feel of the mom and dad health food store, they kept the name Ideal Market.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Sage, I just tried to Google her. She doesn't pop up.
okay, well, she's probably not in the search engine, but send me a reminder. I'll connect you to. Was that Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Are you on any social media platforms?
No.
Oh, okay. Would you be?
Uh, I don't know. I don't think I have time for that.
Okay, no problem. But I can find a way you can contact her if you're interested.
Well, I just wanted to see if she had a website.
Oh, well, if she does, I'd have to do some homework, find out if she's how she named the website, if it's Dr. Rosalind Hansen or if she named it
Oh, I see.
after a
Okay.
wellness center. I mean, everyone's different. So, any questions from our last class? Any insights? Any concerns? Any challenges?
I have a couple of questions. That I use every so often I do zeolite.
Yep.
You know what that is?
Yep.
And then I have to pee often, like during the day. I often pee. So should I collect that pee or not? Because zeolite pulls out the heavy metals and stuff.
Yes, because we're dealing with the filtration system of the plasma, not so much the zeolite. If it makes its way into the blood, it'll be filtered through the plasma section of the blood, not the red blood. And so if it and I had this talk with Anya this morning, if it shows up in your urine, it's already been identified by the body so that it can form the antigens and antibodies and the correct solution if it's a contaminant to the body. If it's found in the urine, it's in such a nanoparticle size that it can't really hurt you. I mean, you're looking at 3,000 compounds in there.
Yeah, but the heavy metals, are they not being, because I have to pee so much, that's what I noticed. So I'm thinking, well, okay, the body is flushing this stuff out. So if I re-ingest it, that doesn't jive with me somehow.
Yeah, well, what if I told you it was transformed in the process, even though it might be located? I mean, even to locate it, the doctor has to isolate it from 3,000 compounds. It's such a small size, it's not even harmful. But because it's been already affected by the urine, I would use it orally or topically. I mean, there's no harm to it because nothing can be contaminated inside the urine.
Yeah, speaking of contamination, what about the evolved urine? Is there any bacteria that grows in there and stuff like that? No.
The properties kind of explain it. It's antibacterial, antiviral, antiseptic, anti-cancerous, anti-tumoral, anti-candida. It's going to neutralize whatever in there.
Okay. I might as well finish my questions here since I'm
sure.
So last night I started to use my other jar of evolved, and it didn't smell bad, really all that bad, and it didn't taste all that bad, but it was really stingy in my mouth, and I swished it for 20 minutes with it, and then I had this mucusy film that came off my tongue and the sides of my mouth and everywhere. Yeah, that's a good thing, I guess. Or
yeah, because you got excess mucus around your body. I mean, even when I'm snorting up the nose first thing in the morning and I push out both sides to clear the nostrils, there's still mucus coming out. So however it is, however it starts to increase, usually it's from diet, but that's what's happening. It's all part of the cleanse. I mean, I haven't met anybody on this path who doesn't cleanse anymore. The folks have been at it for years. But you see, there's other things that get inside our body that's airborne. that's energetically gets to us. There's electromagnetic things. I mean, there's all kinds of things that affect us. We're not living in a bubble.
Oh, it's a toxic world. It's incredible. Like
Great.
most of the things we touch are toxic unless you go out and hug a tree.
Yes, and stay there for hours.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm always preaching about saturation dosing. It's almost like the folks that are really gung-ho about urine therapy, they're recreating the experience in the womb. They want the water on them. They want the water near them. They put it by their bedside. They diffuse it in the air. They stick their feet in it. They put it up their bum. It's a matter of making sure that you get ahead of any kind of pollution in the body or anything that's going to affect your ability to be able to track and stay conscious. Because the metals and the contaminants that got into our body, that got into the brain, is making it difficult for people to tap into visionary states and higher consciousness. So this is really going to open up those glands up here. Anya?
So saturation dosing, you just mentioned it, and I guess we'll read today more about it. But does that also mean to even, let's say, if I ate or if I will eat some more, like, let's say, solid food, and to keep looping? Is that also good, even though there's more food particles in?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're not eating anything harmful, are you?
No.
No.
I mean, the most harmful thing that I used to eat is like dairy. I haven't eaten flesh for like, I don't know, 25 years.
Right. So it seems that people are working on finding the balance between being a big eater, being a moderate eater, and not being an eater. And so you get to see how your barometer is going back and forth. And if food is the driving force, or cleanliness and peace, I mean, you can find the balance there without being obsessive about it.
Okay.
You know, if you eat something and it's normally not on your diet, bless it a couple of times and have fun with it, but don't beat yourself up afterwards. And we've all done that. You've seen the people who go on the purest diets still have some old guilt going on. So if they all of a sudden eat something that's not part of their diet, oh, they go into a fit.
Well, to be honest with you, over this, I've done, like, let's say, a year of saturation dosing. I mean, much more than I used to. And I'm a little bit sad that certain foods which I used to love, I just can't eat them anymore. I can't. The body is repelling it. So that's sad because I used to really love that. But it's good, of course. I'm joking.
Do you need a hug? Well, you know, to me, it just reminds me of all the exes I've ever had and lost, and you know, it's another one. You know, you'll be strong. As Dr. Seuss once said, "Don't cry because it's over. Be happy you had the experience."
Okay, cool.
All right. Let's see. Did anybody introduce urine therapy to anyone new?
Well, I mentioned it to several people, 3 to be correct. And
where did it go?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. The one, I think she's gonna come around. She's gonna come join the camp. And the other 2 are guys. I don't know if guys they have a little more, feel about it. But the girls, usually the girls seem to be more acceptive of it and more interested in it. And the guys are just like, oh, what are you talking about?
Well, why is that? Anybody want to weigh in on that? Why
Maybe
is there an
women are more
acceptance in this?
health conscious altogether, more interested in healthy living?
Could it be because you have a womb?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just throwing stuff out there. There's a different relationship or connection to the water than the guys for some reason. All right. Let's go into saturation dosing. Anybody got a book with them?
Yeah, I got my book.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks and the stickers.
Oh, hold that sticker up. Yeah, you ought to get a shirt with it on there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't do propaganda of any kind.
Not a problem. They're going to see you radiating, going, "What are you doing?" We're on page 61. And would anybody like to start us off on some reading?
I can.
Thank you for volunteering.
What did you say? 81?
61.
60. Like I start on 60 because that's where it starts. Saturation dosing with AUT.
Okay.
The practice of increasing the oral and or topical uses of Orin. The saturation point is an arbitrary attempt to reach Orin capacity at its fullest or limit. Saturation dosing is your best prevention and defense of an illness or a compromised immune system. It gives you a fighting chance to get ahead of any virus, sickness, contamination, or compromise to your health. Saturation dosing is gaining in popularity as a preventative protocol, especially when started before the onset of any illness. Considering that the body is continually regenerating and purifying itself, it's an oxymoron to believe that we could ever reach the point of being full to the max with nutrients from Orin. Keep in mind that Orin, with its 3,000 plus identified micronutrient-sized substances and more yet to be discovered, it would be virtually impossible to determine daily minimum requirements and a serving size for everyone. This is why it is clearly understood that Orin therapy is an intuitive medicine or water. The purpose of saturation dosing is to flood the bloodstream, body, and cells with the maximum concentration of vital nutrients in a shorter time than it takes with just one glass of serving per day. It has been a widely held belief and practice that a glass a day of Orin meets the average person's minimum health needs. Why stop there? This may be the case for those UT devotees who have been drinking and applying Orin for many years, with the addition of other health practices like fasting, fruitarianism, raw veganism, Enemas or colonics, Qigong, Tai Chi, meditation, sun gazing, OMAD, 1 meal a day, exercise, daily conscious, deep connected breathing, clearing limiting beliefs, and getting lots of hugs and conversations that matter. Committed health enthusiasts who are continually using the UT protocols have gained an experience and a knowing with AUT that gives them great certainty in its healing power. Those just starting AUT using minimum doses are improving at a snail's pace, playing it safe, often not changing anything about their diet or lifestyle, and experiencing incremental health improvements.
So keep that in mind when you have a conversation with people and they say, well, I'm drinking the urine, but I'm not getting any better. So this is your opportunity to probe and go a little deeper into their lifestyle. Have you increased raw foods in your diet? Have you improved the quality of your diet? Are you exercising? What are you doing for your emotional well-being? And look at other areas of your life so they can start making changes there as well, instead of just, like a Band-Aid, just taking a little bit here and there. It doesn't take long to find out who's really committed to their health. Those are the ones that get results. Hey, Monica, go ahead.
Yeah. AUT teachers or authors may not have taught them anything different. So now would be a great time to bring saturation dosing into the conversation with your water buddies. It's a great time for you and all students of this manual and of AUT to start practicing saturation dosing and or increasing what you are doing with Orin therapy until you have a direct experience of this protocol. Having the understanding and confidence in teaching this UT model to others will make a big difference for them. This choice brings days of feeling good and days of not feeling well, with varying degrees of feelings in between. To experience a quantum leap in healing and reclaiming your well-being requires discipline, motivation, courage, and faith in yourself, as well as the process. Continue. How to begin UT saturation dosing. Start by putting aside all of your concerns about increasing the consumption of Orin. Trust the teachings in this manual and give 100% of your determination and energy into succeeding with AUT. Scheduling dates and times and designing a plan of action helps when you see it laid out on a calendar for daily and weekly use, or print out something like this one below and write in the protocol details.
And hold on, I'm gonna show you the drawing that inspired me to put this together.
Gina, you look radiant.
Oh, thank you.
Are you continuing on it? And
yeah, you know what? I'm on day 20 of my fast.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm.
Are you fasting on
Good for you.
Orin, Shima?
I am, yes. Yeah.
Super. 20 days.
Are you documenting anything?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Great, because everything we're doing is helping future generations. So keep putting it down. So I put out this calendar. It's a 28-day calendar. And it's designed to help people who need a structure and need a form for them to be committed to do a different protocol every day and then build a routine. And so the one I have in the book is not as complete. I do have one that I emailed you guys, but this was the original. Let me lift this to speaker view. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. This is the. How am I supposed to do this? I guess I'm supposed to talk. Okay. Why isn't this working? Oh, gee whiz. Anyway, so it's the UT Pro. Is this backwards?
No, it's all right.
No? Yeah.
Okay. So the whole idea, and I'm going to read it because it's difficult because the whole screen is not. It's supposed to. Somebody teach me how to do screen sharing. So on every day, you're going to create a code. Like a star means when you wake up, you drink 3 to 6 ounces. A heart represents a bath. F means fasting. E is ears and eyes. And the whole list goes from nose to ears to eyes to gargling to pulling to enemas to foot soak to hand soak to navel soak to tongue cleaning to body massage, nebulizing, and Orin fast saturation dosing, bathing, and goggles. So you put one or more every day on your calendar: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so forth. So you know when that day comes around what you're going to do, and you'll be prepared for it. Okay. Now the reason a lot of people like to fast on Monday. Anybody fast on Monday?
I used to.
Yeah, a lot of people think that that's the best day to fast because you've already had all your social time on the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, and it's also the day historically Gandhi fasted on Mondays. And there's some people out in Canada who teach that. So that's up to you, whatever day you decide to fast. But if you can get used to doing 16-hour intermittent fasting, that goes a long way to jumping into a full-out fast. Any questions about the calendar?
No.
All right. I'm going to pick up reading here for. We're going to the storage suggestions for Orin at the bottom of page 63. Choose the best container to store the water. The Damar Tantra tradition. By the way, the Damar Tantra. You guys have copies of the Damar Tantra?
No.
No.
You can either get a free PDF. I mean, it's all over the internet. But Leonard Orr, he put every verse inside the book. So the people getting this book right now, they also get the Damar Tantra, so they can see how Shiva laid it out to Pavarti, step by step, how to heal everything, and then at the end, how to achieve immortality. So they recommend the use of containers such as gold, silver, copper, brass, iron, glass, which they may not have had back then, earth, clay, bamboo, bones, leather, or a bowl made out of plantain leaves or coconut shell. So this is whatever you need, whatever you have, you can use it. Most people are using a ball jar, or they use a glass, or whatever it is. Harry and I, you guys know who Harry Matadine is. We've gone back and forth because people are asking us, what about plastic? Because there were videos where Harry was drinking urine out of plastic bottles, and people going, doesn't that leach chemicals and stuff in the, and so I taught Harry, and he's been repeating this across social media. Urine is more powerful than plastic. Shivambhu is more powerful than plastic. Nothing can contaminate it. It's absolutely sterile. So the people who are getting hung up on, what container you use, get over it. Get close to glass and get close to copper and get those. But if you don't have it, you don't have it. Okay.
How do you call these little pottiers, these little cups that Matt was showing one day? You remember this, like on the go?
Oh,
They
yes,
are from,
yes.
How are they called?
I'll show you.
Yeah.
Oh, don't go away. I'm glad you brought that up.
So what is your, Sheena, what is your biggest struggle?
There was a few days there where I just really felt sick to my stomach. So before I started, I froze orange juice into ice cube trays. And so I actually, I just listened to my body, and I'll chop one of those up, and that sort of takes the that feeling away. So
yeah.
This is called a hideaway. It's made out of silicone, and it goes from, if I get it right, it goes from the size of like a mini spaceship, and then this thing expands out. It's going to hold 23 ounces.
Yeah, that's great. And it closes securely.
It closes securely. Rinse it out, close it down.
Yeah.
And these are great for traveling. These are great if you need to use them in the bathroom on the airplane or wherever. Okay.
What are they called?
They're called a hideaway. Check the chat feed.
Hideaway.
I just typed it in the chat. And if you care to brand them, you can put, little stickers on them. So it's a hideaway. And they have them in yellow. Any questions? Okay, so we are on, where did I put this? We are on, what page are we on?
Bother you, but this is what I use. It's a foldable cup, but it's
yeah.
crazy. And sometimes I'm embarrassed when I do it. And my friends who don't want to hear anything about it, and then they hear my clucking, they know what I'm doing. But
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's not so. I don't know how much goes inside, but normally I think it could be a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it looks like 3 or 4 ounces.
Yeah, maybe.
What's so nice about the hideaway is you can seal on the top, and nothing's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
And on that one, you can put a top on it, but I don't know how secure it is.
No, I don't put a top. I have to drink it straight away.
Okay.
Where did you buy those?
On the internet. Mine is called a foldable cup.
And the hideaway, where did you?
Hideaway.com. Go to hideaway.com.
Okay, thanks.
And they have specials going on all the time. They range from like $25 to $50. They have accessories. Yeah, just go there or type it in. You might find it on eBay or Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
What page are we on? Oh, page 64. I mean, you're out in the forest, you're out in the desert, and you got no container, but you can still put your hands together and form a bowl and urinate. You're going to be just fine.
Mhm.
And the more you let that sink in, that should free you from a lot of fear about we're going to lose our food supply.
Mhm.
You know, if you can hold on as a lifesaver, whatever happens to the economy, whatever happens to our food supply, you're covered. Then you're the guy who's going to help everybody else out who's in panic mode.
Yeah, and just watch how they will start to guzzle.
Oh yeah, all of a sudden they're going, that Monica, she's not
Yeah.
crazy after all. And I don't want that to play out, but if it does, I'm prepared.
No, of course not.
So here's a question about what to cover. People cover this. Was there a comment in the chat? Okay, thanks. Okay. People say, should you cover it with cloth, a hemp bag, a cotton, a sprouting bag? Some people will cover it with a nylon stocking. It costs like 75 cents at the store. A nylon stocking, whatever you cover it, with a rubber band. And some people like me just put on either a loose lid or a screw on top. Now, the reason people like to have the screen on there is so that nothing flies. And the reason you cover it is so nothing flies in there. But their thought is, well, if I put on something that's loosely woven like a material, then it can breathe, right? So it doesn't matter if you do that or if you cover it up or you make it more permanent, because nothing can contaminate it. The only reason for covering it at that point is just so nothing else flies in there. So if you have that question come up for you, or if you're wondering what's the best thing to cover it with, it's an intuitive medicine. Okay, since Orin has antibacterial, antiseptic, antifungal, and antiviral properties, choosing to cover or not to cover is a personal choice. Covering Orin keeps airborne pathogens, bugs, or insects from contaminating the water. Drinking Orin any time of day is the best time to have a drink. Shivambhu is an intuitive medicine. It is designed into perfection for each of us. Drink as much as you can, whenever you can. I've not heard one person say they OD'd on Shivambhu, so I don't think we'll hear that conversation. What happened to Charlie? Well, he peed himself. The drink is pee to death. Number 5, be sure to clean up your diet. Get closer to eating living plant foods, and fruit is the best. The sooner you make the change, the better. Number 65, one of my favorites. You got one of these?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got one on you?
Yeah.
Not on you, but you got one on you.
I own one, yes.
That's a yes. The reason I'm so fired up about feet is because that's what I've been doing my whole life, is foot massage and reflexology. It just so happens my dad was a foot doctor, a podiatrist, and my grandfather was a shoemaker. So I'm a third generation foot guy. So I'm definitely going to preach this to you guys, because getting nutrients into the soles of the feet is the same way that people apply essential oils. You guys work with essential oils?
Yeah.
Right. Well, they're always telling me to put it on the feet because the widest surface of the pores on the body is the feet. And so you can get the most amount of nutrients delivered and traveling into the bloodstream through your feet. So when you're soaking this, what you want to do, I don't need the book for this. I already know this part. Hold on. All right, you want to get it to about halfway to a third, but you don't measure it by that. You want to measure it by if it's covering your ankles.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to get the reproductive organs and the hips and everything that the ankles represent, all the way down to the bronchioles, the lymphatics that's on the metatarsal bones on the top, and then in the arches and the plantar regions down below, you're going to get the intestines and the rest of the body. So what you do is, now some people think it's, when you leave the urine out into the air, it's cold, or if it's wintertime, it's cold. If you don't mind the initial shock when you first put your feet in there, no big deal. Some people will put in some heated up water so it's comfortable. That's optional.
You wouldn't heat it up? like on the stove?
Well, you
Just
could,
to
but don't boil it.
no, just to body temperature kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean either that or add hot water, whatever's good for you. But I like the initial shock. So Sheena can relate. The initial shock is no problem. So several things are going to happen here. You want to keep your feet in there for 30 minutes. If you're wearing loose yoga pants, if you're wearing pajamas, if you're wearing shorts, it makes it so much easier because you want to roll the pants up above the knees because while your feet are soaking in here, you can massage your shins, your calves, and your kneecap as much as you can. If you're sitting in a some kind of chair inside your bathtub, you don't need a stitch of clothing on. You can massage your whole body while you're in there. All right. The other thing you want to do is while your feet are in here, bring your hands in as well for at least 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes long. It's kind of an awkward yoga position. If you're not doing just individual hand soaks, that's a good time to multitask. Mm-hmm. Now, did you guys ever have any wrist problems? Arthritis, carpal tunnel, blown wrists, any of that stuff?
I have a big issue here with this area of my hand.
Answer muscle. Okay, so keep soaking your hands.
I have.
Since doing this for 28 years, and I do a lot of body work, I figured out once I worked on like 38,000 bodies in my career. A lot of massage therapists, their wrists blow out and they have to quit the profession. But I don't have any problem. I can still do 10 or more clients a week. And it's nice to be able to have a fully functional hand. And you people who are at the keyboards a lot, you can also be affected by that. So it's a good idea to do that. Any questions about foot soaks?
How often do you recommend that? Once a week? I mean,
Once
of course,
a week?
yes, no.
Put it on your calendar.
Every day, I guess.
If you have, how many people live alone?
Part-time.
Part-time, okay. I mean, if it was a perfect scenario in your house, you could have a room that's your spa that has all your devices in it. So you can simply change it out and use whatever you need at that time. Ultimately, that's what I would have. And I share a house with two of my dear friends. So for me to just leave that lovely aroma in the bathroom after I use the bathroom, they don't like that. So you have to figure out how it works.
I use class time as a foot soak time too.
You doing that
That's
right
a
now?
good idea.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. See, there, that answers your question, Anya. How often?
I also did, yeah. I mean, you know, I kind of do it. Sometimes I do it like every day and then I forget about it. So you're right to put it in the calendar. And I have an issue on a toe joint. And I'm just more lazy than interested to have it healed. But I guess it will be the perfect medicine, of course.
Yeah, well, is that your intention?
Yeah.
Which toe?
The left big toe. I've hit it several times and they say it's calcified and yeah, it's kind of stiff.
Okay, well, everybody send some energy to Anya's left big toe.
Oh, thank you.
And I asked that question. The reason and it sounds like I'm kind of joking around. I do joke around a lot, but I'm sincere at the same time. One of the first questions when I'm consulting with people is I always ask, are you open to the possibility of healing everything in this session? Because we've dragged our cross long enough in our life. We've had to hurt long enough. We suffered long enough. And the Course in Miracles says healing is a mere shift of perception. Mm-hmm. That's how the masters healed people. They already saw their wholeness and their perfection, and the patient didn't until they moved their perception to see what Christ saw in them. So we're the only ones who slow down our recovery.
Hey, can I share one anecdote with you about water, holy water?
Yeah.
I shared with my boyfriend today something, and he is very hard not to crack about Orin. He says, do whatever you need to do, but don't tell me about it. And when I was on my fast, and I said, it's so glorious, he said, I fucking don't want to drink piss. But he is very interested in meteorite, and he's Well, yeah, that's it. And he says, do you know where all the water from the planet, it actually comes from meteorites? The Earth used to be like how many millions of years ago? It used to be a fireball, and due to meteorite impacts, which are like frozen water out of space, to hit our planet, and then water came and basically I guess all the water, even that in our holy bodies, is really coming from outer space, which is another confirmation for me about Shiva and Ganga coming into his matted hairs and cleaning us from sins. And then there was a guy the other day who sells for a shitload of money devices which are fantastically against 5G and everything. And he says there are two holy water bodies standing opposite each other. And I'm really an idiot about science, but I was thinking, how does he make water stand opposite each other? Unless he creates a vacuum in that. And then I just got my dilettantic idea today. He just creates a relationship with a water body, and I brought some holy water in yesterday, and he just has these toruses floating around. Anyway, that's my perception, and I'm making my own device now with my own holy water within, and with that holy spring water from under the earth for thousands of years and up in the sky. So anyway, that was my little story.
I love it.
Thanks for sharing.
I love it.
Awesome.
Could he also do something with magnets?
I guess, yeah, it must have
Okay.
something to do with magnets. But then we are also ourselves magnetic, aren't we? All the little iron parts in our body, in our blood.
Yes, we are. And there's a chart that's been floating around for like the last 75 years. It shows how the energy runs up the meridians and then out the hands and then down to the feet and then up the feet. And there's a circuit that circulates
Yeah,
this.
yeah, that's it. Well, we are
Wow.
magical.
Yeah, and it's amazing that almost every day you discover something new about you.
Yeah, right.
So I don't worry about you guys. You're constantly growing and learning stuff. All right. So I talked about the foot soak, which was on page 65, and that takes you all the way to Enemas. Enemas. Who was I talking to? Anya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I went for it this morning. I brought
Yeah, me too.
my bag buddy.
Mhm.
How come they're only in red? How come these aren't like in yellow and green and purple?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Too.
So these things are a lifesaver.
Yeah.
A good naturopath, a good wellness practitioner, a good nutritionist will tell you the first thing you want to do when you're sick is get an enema, get a colonic. Your plumbing is backed up. It's causing absorption back into the bloodstream, which is causing people to get headaches and sick and nausea and flus and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, for example, if you get a migraine and you do a couple of rounds of enemas, your migraine doesn't have a chance. And when you're no longer feeling pain in your sigmoid in the lower part of your intestines, it's amazing how your energy returns.
Yeah.
We're full of shit, and it's a good idea to clean it up. So when you get in the habit of doing these on a regular basis, I know we talked about that, Anya, how often and so forth, but when you've gotten your whole system of taking the enema down, when you really got it down, like what are you going to cover the floor with? Where are you going to hang the bag? Is it going to be off a towel rack, a doorknob, a shower wall? You got to figure that out, right? You got your oil, whatever you lubricate the tip with. You got your urine set up. You got your bag filled up. You're down on the floor. You know, let the water come in. Then you sit on the toilet and you do that as many rounds as you wish. And then it ain't over yet until you clean up the bathroom. You clean up the floor, the toilet, the equipment. And if I'm doing 4 rounds or more, it takes about 45 minutes.
You do 2 rounds. How many liters do you pump in there?
I do 4 rounds. These
4 rounds that are full.
These are approximately 2 liters, 2 quarts.
And you fill that right up, and
I fill it up, right? And then every time you go to fill yourself up, you may or may not be able to take the whole amount of the bag because sometimes you can only get a third of it, and that's all you're going to hold. That's all you're going to hold. Sometimes it's a half. When you can get a whole amount of this filled up inside you, you know that part of the intestines is clean. You're going up higher into the next region.
Mm-hmm. And how long do you try to hold it? As long as possible, I guess. But
until you can't stand it, and you better get your ass on the toilet. That's how long you hold it. And sometimes you don't get it right. Things fall out of you. So what? You just keep going. Now you got to be determined. To me, I approach it kind of like a military style. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to sit. You know, and when you hit the wall of laziness and you know you got to do something good for you, you've all been there, right? And you got to push through the laziness. You'll do it.
Yeah.
Because you know what's on the other side of it. Anya?
So when I started my fast a couple of weeks ago, I have evolved Orin with me, and I didn't have so much, so I diluted it with water, which I also heated. Is that also okay? I mean, for emergency?
Yep.
It's all right, no?
No, not everybody likes the shock when it comes inside your bum. You need to warm it up,
Yeah, all right.
Now, if you're using the evolving Orin and you're concerned about getting a sting, like people feel when they first start snorting it up the nose, then you can dilute it with either fresh or distilled water. You know, you got a lot of wiggle room when you use this sacred water. You got a lot of wiggle room, so it's not like dogmatic. It has to be a certain way.
do you combine it with coffee?
I don't, but you could. I mean, there's still people who, in the water community, they do coffee enemas.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I mean, I did wheatgrass juice for years until I learned about urine therapy. So you have to find out what works for you. Any questions? Now, I've actually had students who wanted me to give them an enema. I said, okay, fine. So it's, you know, if they're intimidated, it's not like you're doing an injection. You're just simply doing water. But if that's where they're at, you know, I was willing to help out. What a guy. What a nice guy. All right. So I pretty much explained how you set up your system on page 67, 68. Maybe the same thing with the douche. Anybody douching with Shivambhu? I know
tried it.
You did. Any benefits?
I just did it the once, so it just felt fresher.
Okay. Yeah, some of the sisters in some of my other classes, there was like 3 or 4 of them were going on and on about, oh, this is terrific, and the other one's going, yeah, I tried it too, and I was out of that conversation, but it was nice to hear it. All right.
Hey, it says here implants, enemas, douches, and implants. What would an implant be?
I'm glad you asked that question. An implant is where you're going to take a small little bulb or a squirt bottle or a syringe. The whole idea is to put an ounce or two inside your rectum and hold it there all night. We used to do it with wheatgrass juice. So it's going to be absorbed into the mucosa and up into the bloodstream. You're feeding yourself rectally. So a lot of people teach this. Darlene teaches this out in Canada. Darlene Tehan, have you heard of her? She's a naturopath. Megan also teaches this. Megan McDonald, excuse me.
Megan, yeah.
Megan. Now, interesting where you can find these. These are silicone, rubber, whatever it is. These are in the children's department in any grocery store.
Yeah, to suck out the mucus from the nose, right?
Yeah. So, and I'm glad you brought that up because you can use this for nose cleaning, ear cleaning, or rectally. So this has a lot of good purposes to it. Did that answer your implant question?
And you better wear a diaper, I guess, overnight.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Sleep on the bathroom floor. Whatever it takes for you. All right. So was there a third question there? Douches. What was the 3 part of it? Oh, and implants. Okay, gotcha. All right, page 71. 11, 10, 10:30, 11, 11:45. So we'll go another 20 minutes. 20 minutes or so, and then we'll take a break. Everybody's bladder holding out?
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody, but sometimes I put the jar under the desk while the class is going on because I don't want to miss a damn thing. So I'm peeing when I'm talking to you guys, and you're going,
Yeah.
well, he's my brother. He's cool. That's all right.
Well, easy for you with your hose.
Well, it's a family show, so I'm not going to reveal anything. It's all in the All right, page 71. Rinse the ears with Orin. Either the palm of your hand, you can use a dropper to apply Orin drops in the ears, or you could use a bulb, you can use a syringe, etc., etc. While head is tilted to the direction opposite the side of the filled ear, massage or pull along the inner edges of the ear to encourage the Orin to sink deeper into the eustachian tube and down into the ear. Got ear health challenges? Squeeze a dropper full of Orin into the inner ear canal with your head lying down on the opposite side. Hold Orin in ears for as long as you can. Try leaving it in for 5 minutes. When ready, tilt head to opposite side and let it drain. Repeat protocol with the other ear. Now once it drips out, you know what to do with it, right? Rub it on your face.
Rub it in.
I was waiting for Anya to go, do you wipe it off? What? It gets to be ridiculous after a while where it drips, whenever you're using it.
So, but wouldn't there be earwax mixed in with it?
If you're lucky enough to pull earwax out, yeah, you want to wipe it away. Or if there's mucus or whatever it is. Sometimes when people are doing the eyes, there's excess mucus that comes out of the eyes. You hear what happened with Dr. Sebi? Have we got to the eyes yet?
No.
I'll just talk about Dr. Sebi real quick. He was doing a lot of urine therapy. Have you heard? You know who Dr. Sebi was?
No.
He was a teacher from Jamaica, this black brother, and he taught about fasting and raw foods, and he talked a lot about urine therapy. Well, after doing it for quite some time, he went blind because he was putting a lot into his eyes. 3 days later, his sight came back better than ever. He discovered the brain was discharging mucus, and it got into his eyes.
Well.
So the people go through temporary blindness or cataracts or floaters or night vision problems are getting it healed.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's good to know. That would be a little scary.
So very scary. And he put drops of evolving Orin into his eyes, into like with a dropper or something, or doesn't matter how, but he just put it in there.
Yeah, and he knew what started the blindness, so he was patient with it.
Okay.
Okay.
So if it ever happens to anybody, you go, wait a minute, I remember that in class.
Yeah,
I know what to do.
That's good to know for sure.
Okay, so use ear rinses to treat hearing, tinnitus, or any ear infection. An alternative method to eardrops is to place an orange-soaked cotton ball in the ears, keep in the ear for an hour, and then remove it. Tip head to the side of the ear and massage throughout the ear to either absorb or drain the remaining Orin. Q-tips are useful not only in applying and dabbing inside the ears, but they can also be used in many other ways. One guy came on our conference call and he had his dipped Q-tip and he was just swabbing inside his nose.
Mm-hmm.
Much better than the tests they did for COVID. If they had just swabbed us with urine, that would have been great. I live in an alternative universe, so bear with me. Most people will easily sniff a finger dipped in pee, or a beginner's method of drinking Orin through the nose. Why is that in the ear section? I have to go double check that one. While others prefer the use, of a Q-tip to swab Orin in the inside of the nostrils to clean out bacteria, and then in the nasal passage as they lightly sniff the Orin. Now, I might have showed this before. The cotton balls works just fine. Soak this in the urine and just give it a quick hard sniff. Like if you're somewhere you need to wake up your brain or if you need to hydrate, these work just as well. So I have these stored in my car, in my backpack, in my desk in the bathroom. I got these. Get the organic ones, so there's no weird fibers or chemicals in them. Forget about Q-tips like cotton balls soaked in Orin works well for a quick remedy for specific conditions. However, in an emergency situation like a hornet or a wasp sting, a burn, or cut, you'll need to move quickly on any AUT treatment. Forget about rushing home or scrambling through the medicine cabinet or bathroom drawer for supplies. Either pee directly on any affected area or pee in the palm of a hand to transfer it to anywhere on the body. Any ear questions? Pretty simple?
Yes.
Okay. So just remember what you're studying in class, you're also someday will be teaching.
Yeah, I only wish I could convince the husband because he suffers from tinnitus.
Yeah, have you discussed the possibility of a
I'm working on it.
Okay.
It's a challenge.
You guys pay attention. If you're in a situation and you're wanting to convince buddy, your husband, your wife, your kids, your friends, about urine therapy, and you can feel their resistance, and you can feel them holding back, then you need to bring in a third party so they don't associate this practice with you. If they can't hear you say it, you might want to bring in a third party or a testimonial or a video or something else, then he can receive it in another direction. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's because, like, for example, if I'm giving a testimonial and people don't quite get it or they don't trust the source of the testimonial, sometimes a third party makes all the difference. So experiment with different approaches.
Good idea.
All right, eye rinse, page 72. Obtain an eye cup. I didn't bring my eye cup, but you guys know what they look like. Obtain an eye cup from local drugstore, health food store, or online. Fill up eye cup with fresh Orin to avoid a sting from the astringent quality of evolving Orin. Now, some people, they just grin and bear it. They just pop in aged urine, and it might sting. It goes away in 3 or 4 seconds. That's optional. I get wimpy that way, so I often will use either fresh or mixed. Press and hold firmly to one eye. Blink several times while the cup is still secure. Pour excess Orin remaining in the cup directly over the eyes and surrounding area. Learn that one from Dr. Hansen. Then switch eye cup and repeat protocol with the other eye. The eye rinse protocol supports eye health, bringing relief to tired, burning, or painful eyes, particularly if you're staring at a screen all day long. Use Orin eye rinses to treat all irritation, cataracts, poor vision, swimmer's eyes, sore or tired eyes, or any eye infections. To treat any type of eye problems, do the following. Now, this suggestion is from Dr. Rajshak Malhotra. He's in India. Anybody hear about him? Him and his wife have been practicing this for 50 plus years.
Wow.
So, I listen closely to the elders, particularly if they're from India, because there are clinics out there that offer this. So here's what he said. Drink fresh Orin both nostrils from time to waking till 6 p.m. Collect all Orin until bedtime. Then Orin shall be collected for eternal uses, like pouring it into the eyes 3 to 4 times a day. Give yourself an Orin body massage from someone or from yourself in the next few days. It shall prevent and treat many other diseases such as coronavirus. I didn't say that. He did, so I'm off the hook. He said that. Make certain that the eyedropper you use for Orin rinses is sterilized. And what do you sterilize your eye cup with?
Yeah, Orin.
Urine.
Bingo. I get a kick out of people going, well, they're rinsing it in water or they're putting in some soap. I'm going, what? You've got the best cleaner in your hand. All right. Make certain that the eyedropper has been sterilized. A compress of fresh Orin is also excellent for external eye inflammation such as styes. It's those things that pop up over different places. All right. Number 73. We're going to go another 10 or so minutes before we take a break. Orin fasting is the ultimate choice in purification. How does one go on an Orin fast? Page 74. Fasting is a conscious vacation from food. It is a yoga of mindfulness with attention on the body and mind during a cleansing and rebuilding time, and not focusing on your next meal. Collect and drink 100% of your Orin shortly after peeing. Drink only Orin or combined with distilled water for the entire day. Drink enough Orin to satiate your thirst. To overcome hunger sensations throughout the day, drink 2 to 3 ounces. Now that's a minimum suggestion. Now here's something else that's interesting. I don't know if I brought this up before. Hunger a lot of times is misunderstood. So, we feel any sensation of discomfort or in our stomach, in our intestines, what do we normally do? We reach for food. And what's really going on there is in the lower segment of the intestines, known as the sigmoid, is that peristalsis is attempting to go into action, where you have the contraction and expansion of the lower bowel, right? So it's uncomfortable. We can oftentimes associate it with, I'm hungry. Maybe I should eat. Well, what I discovered is that when I felt that way and I just had a banana and 1 or 2 dates, the hunger went away. So my suggestion is next time you have that hungry sensation and you normally want to reach for food, see if you can baby step food into your body without having to consume a meal to break the hunger spell. That way you won't go into overdrive with food at that point. I'm hungry, it's duh, and go nuts with it. Particularly at the part you're going, I can't override it. It won't stop. It won't leave me alone. I better feed the dragon. Here, eat this. And then the pain goes away. All right, enough of the goofy stuff. Notice that the hunger has gone away. The advanced fasting practice is to drink as little Orin as possible. This puts you on the edge of a dry fast. It's extremely powerful and effective. That's the other thing with the Orin fast. I know we're so used to thinking that I'm doing nutrition. But what if I'm doing all this Orin because I'm being obsessive about it? And maybe even that needs to be moderate once in a while, just to, get a different perspective. I mean, I get that way. More is better, more is better, more is better. Maybe I'm getting obsessive. Maybe I need to take a back off a little bit. So I want you to look at that sometimes too. Avoid drinking Orin or any fluids a couple hours before bedtime, otherwise your sleep will be disrupted by trips to go pee. 2 hours before bedtime, take a break from drinking Orin. This is just a suggestion. Some people drink as much all day long. 2 hours before bedtime, take a break from drinking Orin. Save your Orin in a large-sized glass container like a ball jar. Use this Orin for cosmetic or topical uses or oral applications for the next day or over the next few weeks or longer if you want to keep it evolving. Patience, this is one of our best teachers, is required when drinking all the Orin that you are peeing during the day. Since you drink your pee and have read this far in the manual, you earned a Piquant Flyer Award. Notice if you feel like your piquancy is at a higher vibration. You guys coming up with any pee jokes these days? Anyway, you will. Or because it helps your sense of humor. If you guys are getting too serious on a spiritual journey, woo! Take a break. All right. Orin becomes clearer, neutral in the smell, and sweeter on the day you fast. It tastes more like lovely coconut water to me. I mean, this is just today. Pretty clear.
Yeah.
And Monica, yours is pretty clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's terrific. You can tell you're doing the right. Your diet is really well. You're nailing it. Now, some people go to the extent of bringing out the litmus paper if you want to do a pH test on it just to see the pH factor. Some people who've been talking to me, they say the evolving Orin has been known to be as much as 14 pH, which is the highest alkaline, and most average around 6.5 to 7 pH, in case you ever want to do that kind of test. Orin fasts help with dust, house dust mites, mold allergies, chemical allergies, with or without Orin injections. However, Orin injections while fasting are a more rapid treatment. Orin fasts increases stem cells, human growth hormone, antibodies, probiotics, steroid hormones, metabolites, thyroid hormones. Orin fasting improves intelligence, imagination, creativity, sense of humor, short-term memories, and sharper thinking abilities. Critical and big picture thinking skills also return. Anybody have that experience? You're starting to get the big picture about your life?
Mhm.
Yeah.
where you're going in your life, what you're doing with your life, how you got here, all that stuff is starting to come into focus.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay.
Because there's going to be people show up in your life and going, I have no clue why I'm here. And you tell them, drink your pee, you'll figure it out.
And I'm just so damn smart these days.
Yeah, you are. And I'm so glad you are. Because some people aren't using their genius machine very well. All right. What I'm going to do is skip all those things about the Orin fast and let you guys read that when you have free time. Because we got a lot of material to cover in 3 more classes. How long should I do an Orin fast? Page 79. Answer: start practicing intermittent fasting from 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. every day. Skip what they call breakfast. Do a fast of about 16 hours. Your digestive system will thank you, and for the good rest. With Orin, you can start with an ounce. Shot glass works well for measurements. The most serious Orin drinkers will drink the entire amount that they collect. A basic Orin fast lasts 1 to 3 days. I think Monica Shute is on day 18 right now. I don't know how far she's going. Some people are doing 30-day fasts right now. Some people are doing week fasts. I love doing urine fast because I can use my energy and my attention to do work and to exercise and to rest instead of having to stop and think about where's the food, where do I go to get it, how do I prepare it, eat it, clean up. I mean, you've got all of a sudden that time is in your hands and you can do other things with it. Typically, they last 7, 14, 21, or 30 days. Some people have been known to fast beyond 30 days to heal more serious health challenges. One man fasted on the Master Cleanser for 365 days. You've heard of the Master Cleanse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm referring to Dr. Gary Young of the Young Living Essential Oils. He was in a wheelchair. He fasted 365 days. He healed the condition. He no longer uses a wheelchair. And I thought, well, what if he was using urine therapy
Wow.
instead of Master Cleanse? He might have done that in much less time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to talk to him about it. Imagine that. Simply fast long enough to cure whatever disease you think you have. Always listen, trust, and follow your intuition. John Armstrong, the author of The Water of Life, he had a patient fast for 101 days. He cured blindness in his eyes. The mere length of Orin fasting can raise human growth hormone to very high levels while fasting and correct conditions. Try soaking a cotton ball or washcloth in fresh or evolving Orin. Gently dab or wipe on areas to be healed. Use it for burns, sunburn, cuts, scratches, acne, bruises, capillary bursts, which is, you know what capillary bursts for you people over 50. All of a sudden, this purple reddish mark shows up on your arm, and you're going like, "What the heck?" And you barely touch something, and it shows up. Well, it's a capillary burst, and if you put the urine on it every day, 4 days, it's healed up. So if anybody brings that up in the conversation, you go, "Yeah, I know what to do." Or you can make a compress with it and leave it over the area for hours or for overnight. You can always use a washcloth, a cotton ball, or just your hands when doing topical applications. Rub Orin on the skin as it cleanses, rejuvenates, brings elasticity back to your cells, and tones your muscles. It will leave the body in the form of sweat, pimples, or skin rashes, fever, or as energy. Yeah, let's just finish that up. Then we can take a break. An Orin body massage, including facials, scalp, head, feet, hands, and hair rubs, are very complementary to fasting and enemas as a treatment for skin disorders, diseased body parts, internal organs, wounds, rejuvenating whole body tonic. Orin makes a good substitute for soap. Anybody still using soap?
For my hands,
Um,
yes.
some homemade soap, yes.
Okay. So whether you use soap or not doesn't matter. This is soap. When I go to people's houses, sometimes when I'm doing foot massages and I still got oil on my hands, I'm likely to use their Bronner's soap or whatever they got in the bathroom just so I can get cleaned up and get out of there. So that's the alternative, is to use urine. Take 30, 60 minutes to receive or give yourself a good Orin massage for well-being. Has anybody given themselves an Orin massage?
Yeah.
Has anybody given someone else an Orin massage?
No.
Wait till you do. It's a life changer. I gave multiple ones to Vijay Gupta while he was trying to recover from the hospital, either at the hospital, in the recovery house, home, the recovery center, the rehab center, or at his house. I'm going, so this is how you do it. And since we couldn't get to his back when he's laying on his back, we had to get him to grab the rail on the hospital bed to flip to the side so we can work his spine and his butt and his back that way. So it can be done.
Is he out of the hospital now?
He passed away 4 days ago.
Oh, sorry.
He didn't make it,
Oh.
but his soul was ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt him wanting that a few years back. And so right now he's having a party.
Yeah.
Those who know him know that his spirit is still hanging around, helping people out.
Yeah.
So with that emotional moment, let's take a break. You guys would bring that up. Let's take a break. And I knew him for 25 years, so I was close to him. Somebody turn off the recording. Turn off the recording. Anything you want to talk about? Patience. That seems to be something we're constantly having to learn, because, if we've suffered long enough and we're into the Orin path and our patience is wearing thin, you better grab some patience somewhere, because it's got its own timing set up for you. So some days you're going to feel on top of the world, and some days you're going, I'm just going to go back in my pajamas and go to call it a day.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with what goes on above us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what about under the earth, inside
or
the
under? Yeah.
Oh, all over the places. So this is one of the reasons I'm grateful that we have each other, because at least we can check in. We can check in and find out what's real and find out where the love still is and not get lost and all that other stuff.
Check in with the other crazies.
Yeah, there's plenty of those. All right, we're on page 81. Go slowly, go softly while massaging Orin toward the heart. Now, it can be full-out massage, or it can be just dabbing and rubbing and just, holding it long enough so that it absorbs into that area. It doesn't have to be therapeutic massage full out. Pay attention to massage areas where the lymph glands are located. Send kind and loving thoughts and positive energy to the recipient. Allow an hour for the Orin to be absorbed. When Orin is absorbed in the skin, the odor of ammonia will be gone after a short period of time. Some people call it outgassing, or it just evaporates over time. Orin massages are easy to love and appreciate. It's worth it for the wonderful feeling of being healthy and invigorating. Scalp and hair massage is a general hair care substitute for shampoo and conditioner. Dandruff, hair loss, baldness. Using fresh or evolving Orin, massage Orin briskly into the scalp, allowing it to be absorbed 30 minutes to an hour, as long as possible. Then wash it out with lukewarm water. Get ready for clean, lustrous, and darker colored hair. I don't rinse mine out. Some people don't either, so that's totally optional. Of course, sometimes you have the weirdest hairdos, but, it's worth it. Remind your mind that you are giving and receiving a loving and nurturing massage using holy water, and that you're worth it. So here's the simplest and easiest way to create a shampoo recipe. Find a jar, pee in the jar, apply it on your hair. That's it. Told you this path is pretty simple. On a healthy diet, dried Orin doesn't have an offensive odor. And how I have a litmus paper is when I leave it on my hair and the roommates come in and they don't make a comment. I haven't smelled you in a while. Well, I have no comment. Food poisoning. Several research studies have shown that urea is a proven antibacterial agent. These doctors have stated, and Orin has been found to contain antibodies to food contaminants such as salmonella bacteria. Begin by taking 3 to 5 drops. Increased dosage is tolerated from a dropper full to an ounce or more. This is for people who have food poisoning. It also applies for um, poison ivy, poison oak, anything. And most of those are in acidic condition, so you have to flip the pH, and this is what the Orin does. Nose drinking. Our buddy Samuel G. Cohen, who's out there in India right now. He's originally from UK. I met him when he was traveling Israel, and now he's in Goa. This is all about how he learned it from his guru, Kelly Ra Selba. Did I get his name right? Kelly Ra Saliba. And so he found a way to not only drink it through the nose, but be able to collapse this little area back behind the nose so it's easier to get past the nose and down the throat without having to drink it down the throat. And by doing so, the theory is that you'll not only cross the blood-brain barrier, which decalcifies or reawakens the pineal gland, but you hydrate these sinuses, and for the most part, people live their whole lives with dehydrated the portals and all the sinuses. Or they're filled with too much mucus and they're inflamed. It does incredible things for your breathing when you don't have dried sinuses. Plus, if you do alternative nostril breathing, or if you're doing all kinds of connected breathing, it's this joy to not have to have blocked sinuses.
Now, about this nose drinking, this Dr. Rakshak, he said that, he says apply, which is totally complicated, put a syringe here and do this and that. And I think what I've done, according to Samuel's YouTube, and I just put my nose on the glass and then I drink it. There's no question to it. It's just happening. I mean, maybe the first time I spilled it a little bit over, but then, so I guess as you are advocating intuitiveness, that's the way, isn't it?
I'm
Or
saying,
is there some putting a syringe up and down and this and that?
well, people got clever over the last 4 years I've been teaching this. You know, they've come up with syringes, they've come up. This is a fleet enema bag, an enema bottle. So what I would now when I was searching for different devices, I would look at things differently than most people would look at them. And I saw this thing, I'm going, this would be great for people who need pressure to get it up their sinuses. So you spend $2, you bring it home, you clean it out, and you use it for urine. All right. So you can get these devices anywhere. But the whole idea is to get it up your nose however you get it up your nose. Whether you're using a cotton ball, oops, sorry about that. That was fun. Whether you're using a cotton ball or snorting up the palm of your hand.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
All right. Do you remember on the YouTube, did he teach you about when you drink it through a cup that you hold some in your mouth while you're doing that?
No, he didn't. Somebody else did, but I don't do it. I just drink it without holding something in my mouth. Is that wrong?
There's no right or wrong here. Some people will close the opposite side if they're drinking through one nostril. Kelly had some video where he's got a glass and he's got his arm around the backside so he can hold it with one hand and drink it up with the other hand. You know, he looks like an advanced yoga. Let's see if I can show you on screen without making a mess here.
So the idea is to get it up your nose so it comes down into your back of your mouth.
Back of your throat. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And when you've done enough time, you get this muscle coordinated. You know, you saw Anya, you saw myself. You're popping your throat, so it starts to pull it from up here instead of down your throat. And when you've done it long enough time and you've had enough practice, you can drink a whole glass through your nose.
What?
Yeah.
Not the glass,
I
but
don't
what's in
want
it.
it, Monica, since I did happen, I don't miss it if I miss it, I miss it. I don't miss it. It's totally freshening and so good.
Yeah, well, I have a little like a a little bottle with a spritzer, like a pressure spritzer thing that checks it up there.
Yeah.
That's what I use.
Yep. You can even use a spray bottle. You know, use your imagination. You can get small particle size nebulized vapor, which also works. Anybody, did I show you this before?
I have
Yeah, you
one
did.
that Matt suggested.
Yeah. So it's up to you. With a little good imagination, you may even come up with something no one's figured out yet. Like doing a headstand and dropping it down your nose. I don't know. You guys will come up with something. What always get me is when I started following the guys from the mucusless diet, Professor Spira and his whole community online, there was these young yoga gals who were doing enemas and doing headstands while they're holding all the water inside their body. I'm going, well, I'm 67, but I don't know if I want to do that. To me, it's just enough to hold it while you're laying on your back. Okay, any questions? So this is Samuel Cohen. His website, drinkingthroughthenose.com, may not be up right now, but I might have his ebook stored on a document somewhere. If you want, I can send it to you. Just remind me.
Okay.
So I'm not going to go in the whole reading here, but I want you to just know that he's talking about now. His point of reference is that he's been a yoga student from this spiritual master for many years. So that and forms of tantra and celibacy, this is all part of his spiritual path. And Orin made a big influence on it. So that's his story right there. I'm not going to go into great detail, but you can read it and you can find out why he says you can feel like a Superman when you do this. Now, Dr. Radchak, I mean, he's pouring through his nose all day long. That's what he said. I'm going, okay, that's fine. This is a straw.
Yeah, it's trunk. That's true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Were you saying we're part elephant now? Maybe that's how elephants never get sick. They're using their nose. Next time you go to India, why don't you check on that, would you?
I will.
Check the elephant. The front, not the back. Yeah. So on page 90, there's various other forms of nasal drinking. And I think you'll get the idea from everything we talked about. One person tips his head over, another person uses fresh, another person. I mean, you find whatever's comfortable so that you can get that up there. Like anything, it takes practice, so don't expect to get it right away. That's what I love about the cotton ball and the sniffing up the hand, because it's a no-brainer. Page 94. Page 94, we get to look at this guy. We get to look at this guy. Where is he? Right there. That's too high. There's this guy right here. And then there's this guy right here. These are nebulizers, diffusers, also known as nebulizers. You could use a humidifier if you wanted to put Orin in your humidifier. That's totally cool. So let me.
But you can't do that if you live with other people.
That sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Why don't you why don't you do this?
Unless they are into it too. Are your roommates into it?
One of them is. He's a student of mine.
Uh-huh.
And when his wife sometimes goes off on me because the smell goes down the hallway, and she tells me, keep it in your room, put it in a thermos, close it up. He totally is on my side, but he's been married to her for 25 years, so he's trying to be diplomatic, and I respect their wishes. It's no big deal. The other thing you can do, and I proved this 2 months ago, is go to a hotel. I went to Hot Springs, and I took all my devices. I had about 3 to 4 gallons of aged Orin, and I did baths, foot soaks, enemas, massages, the place smelled like heaven to me. I don't know what it smelled like to the cleanup crew, but that's an alternative, is to find some other place where it's neutral.
But what about putting in this gadget like fresh urine and some etheric oil? Would that miss the point, or is it?
Yeah, totally fine. You're talking about in a diffuser situation?
Yeah, exactly. That diffuser.
Um, yeah, totally fine. The only thing I warn people about or caution about is when you're using essential oils, is stay away from the volatile ones that have the
Mm,
heat element, like cinnamon,
okay.
oregano, sometimes basil. If you're going into the citrus and the mints, yeah, the ones that are more neutral, maybe some lavender, maybe some
I
honey.
think actually fresh one wouldn't make such a inconvenient smell for others, would it? What do you think, Monica?
Yeah. Yeah. If you have a clean diet, I guess it would be okay. It's almost neutral, really.
Yeah, it's almost neutral.
Yeah, so play around with that. Um,
Yeah.
what I've done here before, and I did this at the hotel, was get a. Do you have an essential oil diffuser?
Mm-hmm.
Like the one I showed?
Yeah, this little clay
Right.
pot.
So underneath is a well or a chamber with a line that says this is the maximum you put in it. Is fill it up and let it just diffuse for 4 hours, or
Mm-hmm.
let it go all night until it shuts off. And the whole idea is to clean any airborne contaminants out of the room. Now, it's such small particulates, it never left a smell on the rug. I mean, it goes airborne, so I don't know if it's something that would land on a carpet or land on a curtain or whatever, but I've never smelled it. It may be because it's broken into smaller particulates. All right, and then this lovely device, I'm not really reading because I know this stuff, but this little device right here came to my attention last year from Chit Senna, who used to be called Matt Senna. And what's so neat about this, it has what's called a mesh inside it. So it makes the particulates even smaller than the water droplets. It's more of a gas or a vapor. So when you have this either in your mouth or aimed at your nose, or you can use it to exfoliate the skin, it's very softening for the eyes. It's a much smaller size, so it's able to get into areas that the normal nebulizer doesn't go.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt is one of those guys. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He calls himself Chit now, Chit Senna, but he's the kind of guy. This is the way he's wired: is bring on the detox, baby. It hurts. It's helping. So he would force his body. He would leave it in longer than ever until it hurt. He says, "Oh boy, am I going to get benefits?" I'm a little more of a wimp. I'm a more gentle spirit. So you figure out where your threshold is. So this is a mesh nebulizer, and they sell them on Amazon for anywhere from $30 on up. Don't ask me for the brand, but oh, hold on, guys. That's what the container looks like.
Mm.
It comes with a mask that's adult size and child size. So if you want to just have it over your nose and mouth, it's a great way to be inside like a sauna. So if you ever wanted to get one of those.
So, Chit or Matt, he was highly suggesting to get, he's having these brands, these detox brands and little plant-based whatever merchandising. And then the same thing we get also with evolved Orin Enemas, don't we? If he, so, yeah, I felt that also.
Yeah, and
And
and so is Harry, and so are a lot of people. They get seduced into all these products because they're being sold as the best of the best, the Shilajit and the this and that, and the root products and the intestinal cleanse, blah blah. I'm going, well, that's fine. I don't have an issue with it. It's temporary, and it's a very expensive network marketing product.
yeah.
And a lot of people got into it because of the money. Matt said he's getting rid of mucoid plaque. And I looked closely at the ingredients. Well, that was something we learned about 30 years ago from Bernard Jensen. So, you can source it out anywhere.
Yeah, and basically we got the same thing in India 20 years ago with salt water, and which salt water is better than Orin and evolved Orin. I mean, it's not even it's just sacrilegious to compare it with salt water, but I mean, it must be best. Okay.
Yeah, so you're going to get approached by people with all kinds of products. And right now, you are the product. And you produce the product for your product.
Yeah.
That's how brilliant this water is. All right, dropper bottle filled with. Oh, we're at the dropper bottle. Oh my God! I tell you what I'm doing with this sucker. This is 3-year-old. So if you get a cobalt blue or copper or whatever glass it is, keep this on you, or in your car, or in your backpack, in your purse, whatever. So throughout the day, take a dropper full and pop it under your tongue to get your brain woke up again or to get your energy returning. This is great for that. Doesn't take up much space either.
No.
Does your energy dip during the day? Here's a proven protocol that will energize and calm you. Keep a closed, dark amber or cobalt blue colored glass bottle, dropper bottle containing Orin in a purse, backpack, glove box in your car, wherever. Gargle, swallow a dropper full or more anytime you need to increase your energy or regain clarity of mind. This can be a lifesaver during the day. Plus, use this Orin for emergency situations. Drop and rub Orin on cuts, scratches, stings, rashes, bites, or sunburn. First aid kit in a bottle. Pretty amazing. You can also, if you need to, you can put it on your cotton ball and snort it if you're out and about somewhere and you just need a quick pickup. That's another thing you can do. Orin injections. Page 98. Some are doing this in the water community, some are not. And just so you know, it's the fastest way to get this into your bloodstream. If somebody has an anaphylactic shock, passes out, has a seizure, has a heart attack, and they got produce their own urine, and you can either feed it to them orally or inject it in them instead of using the EpiPen. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Have you tried it?
No, I'm still shy about needles. But I'm willing to have somebody inject my thigh with it. I mean, there are people who are in this town. I haven't found them in a while, but they do B shots, B12 shots, and other shots inside the hip, inside the buttocks muscle. They'll come to your house and they'll give you B12, glutathione, vitamin C. And now there's these IV bars that have been popping up around the country where you can get a drip of vitamin C or glutathione, B vitamins, whatever. And they don't have urine drips yet. Matt's tried it. I know some other people have tried it. It's just a matter of not being intimidated with the needle. Now, Dr. Group has used it successfully with people who have knee problems. And instead of buying expensive steroid shots, oh, Melissa, I can't talk right now. Hold on a second. That's my assistant in California.
So is that something? Sorry, is that something you would suggest to people that shoot insulin, diabetics?
Yeah, they can use it
instead of insulin.
Instead of insulin, but it's the kind of thing you may want to consult with a physician because I don't know how to wean themselves off of that. But if they start using it, that definitely would cut down the insulin until they can stop. But that's more of a medical question. I'd ask Dr. Group about that.
Yeah.
Or Doc Mike Whittort. He was even doing injection into his arm just to find out if that was any different, and he felt it was great. I mean, wherever you get into the bloodstream, but most people do it in the thick muscular area like the hip. So Orin injections are usually reserved for life-threatening situations. This can be a lifesaver when drinking Orin is not possible or desired, especially useful when treating allergic reactions, shock, or anxiety. Many people report positive results in a very short time. Cleansing reaction is short-term, usually a day or a week. As the body purifies, be prepared for clients who demonstrate symptoms such as headaches, joint and muscle pain, body aches, sore throat, general malaise, sweating, chills, nausea, or other symptom type of reactions that may feel very intense. Be ready to face it, not panic. Don't interrupt the process with any unnatural or human medicines. Orin injections will awaken the immune system and its warriors ready for fighting disease. In case of emergencies, when there is no time to lose, an injection with evolving Orin, the strongest effects have been noticed when using Orin that has been involved several months, can save a person's life. I've heard stories of people who showed up on the scene of an accident, and before the paramedics and the first responders showed up, they injected with Orin, and when the person came back to health, they left the scene, so the ambulance never knew they were there.
Wow.
But that takes an incredible angel to happen to be at the right place at the right time. It contains substances your body doesn't need. These will aggravate the body, causes the defense system to develop stronger antibodies for anything that would compromise or harm the body. Injecting Orin causes the body to go into a hyperactive healing mode, which forces it to heal and release toxins immediately. Direct injection of Orin into the bloodstream will bypass the stomach, digestion, and elimination systems. This makes it even more potent. New research reveals that Orin therapy can be beneficial under all of these conditions. It's recommended for clients to not use Orin therapy when using any type of drugs, medication, heavy smoking, tobacco, cannabis, drinking alcohol, or coffee. And I have another approach to that, but let's keep going. An American doctor, Dr. Hitt, runs an Orin therapy clinics in Mexico, has reported treating over 20,000 patients over a 2-year period with Orin injections. Nobody's found this clinic yet. If anybody wants to do any research, love to know if he's still around so we can send people his way, or he can share his experience with the community. These patients have included those diagnosed with cancer, asthma, heart, and other diseases, along with patients affected with severe alcoholism, drug, and smoking addictions. Dr. Hitt had great success with his clients with no side effects from using Orin injections for addictive behaviors, addictive disorders, and also in combination with prescription drugs. Lab testing showed that the amount of drugs or contaminants passed into Orin was so infinitesimal that they posed no threat at all, in fact, appeared to act as auto-vaccine agents, which improve or cure these types of disorders. I think somebody brought that up earlier on this class. Results like this demonstrate Orin's effectiveness even when small quantities of Orin are taken in moderate to diluted form like homeopathic or tincture form. Teach your clients how to avoid heavy detox when these types of conditions are present by starting with 1 to 5 drops up to a dropper full of Orin orally per day for 3 days. Increase the dose by 5 drops each day by according to how well they are tolerating the therapy. Gradually increase the amount up to 1 to 3 ounces or more as needed to obtain results for an individual condition. Now, this is usually someone who is very ill, very scared, people who are having anxiety about, detoxing too quickly. You want to baby step them. So you start them with droppers, you start them with ounces, and then you build up from there. And when they're ready to consume greater amounts, they will. Many people have asked about the efficacy of Orin injections, and as you've seen, many of the research studies presented utilized injections of Orin as part of the therapy. Ironically, doctors are also using oral Orin or urea therapy in non-emergency cases with equally good results. Some patients receiving Orin injections have reported a side effect of occasional redness and a swelling at the site of the injection, which doesn't occur, of course, with oral therapy. Drinking Orin allows for slower application, page 102, and absorption, which can decrease any possible detoxification symptoms. Injections deliver an abrupt, forced introduction of nutritional substances into the body without allowing for the body's gradual adjustment to the substance. There really isn't any need for this sudden force of Orin into the body unless there is an emergency situation that requires it, like anaphylactic shock, wasp sting, heart attack, and so forth. Orin injections work fine if you are committed. People, all right. Sorry about that. Orin injections work fine if you're comfortable giving them to yourself or others, or consult a health expert to administer this for you. Any questions about injections?
Can you inject like female Orin into a male or male into a female? Does that make any difference?
Whatever you got. Like I said in one of the Shivambhu wisdoms, it's a universal panacea. So it's going to work regardless of your considerations, whether it's man's, a woman's, a child, an adult, a different race. It doesn't matter. Some people can use animals, like they do in India, the cow or the camel. Use what you got. Anybody using goggles?
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're awesome. And so there's a picture of George Johnson, whose real name is Tim Rogers. He's a guy in Montana who lost his legs recently. Matt went to live with him for a while. Anyway, he came up with this idea, and I learned it from him. You just fill these up with your Orin and press them so there's a section over your eyes. Blink, keep them open if you can, and just leave them for as long as it feels right before you take them off. And these are swimmer's goggles. Where are you guys?
Those are goggles. Okay.
Where are you? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Oh. You'll feel that way when you have, goggles full of urine. You're going, oh. Any questions about goggles? You can get these anywhere. I tend to find these abandoned at rec centers when I go swimming. They end up in the lost and found. The guy says, you want one, take one. So they're everywhere. Thrift shops, swim supplies. So this was the guy who started. His name is Tim Rogers. Some people know him as George Johnson. He ended up creating several alias names on Facebook, but he's a sweetheart. And he's the guy who used to go to Yellowstone Park and write Shivambhu in chalk on the entranceway to Yellowstone Park and take pictures of it. He also went a little bit extreme, and I love the guy. He's got Shivambhu tie-dye shirts. His license plate says Shivambhu. I mean, he's all about it. So that's Tim.
How did he lose his legs?
Gangrene of some sort. I don't know what got infected, but that was the only thing. He had to do that to save his life. He lost one leg, and the doctor, he went back a couple times, and they said, you got to lose the other one or else it's going to kill you because it was infected. He was going higher up, and that's what they did. I don't know where they come up with these ideas, but
doing all this Shivambhu, and he's still.
We don't know what people's life path is. We don't know why Vijay got sick, and he'd been doing urine therapy for years and years. But that's my take on it, metaphysically. Why do good people get sick? That's beyond me. So this, the tongue cleaner, tongue scraper. Some have the old style ones where it's just a metal horseshoe shape where you drag it across the tongue.
Yeah.
These are free at the dentist. You could probably get them complimentary at the drugstore, but you just dip it in the Orin and scrape your tongue with it. So you get that white film or whatever it is that's left behind, the next day. And if you studied Ayurvedic medicine or Chinese medicine, don't they talk about tongue cleaning?
Yep.
All right, that's what that protocol is all about. The navel or belly button soak is a whole lot of fun. I learned about this 2 years ago, and a lot of people are getting into this right now. Page 105. Perhaps you may have thought, why would we put pee in our belly button? Our navel, also known as a nabi, is an amazing gift that our Creator has given us. According to science, the first part that takes form after conception is the navel. After it is created, it joins the mother's placenta through the umbilical cord. Our navel is surely an amazing thing, page 106. All veins are connected to our navel, which makes it a focal point of our body. The belly button is life itself. The pachadi, the bit that's left over after the umbilicus has been cut at birth, is behind the navel, which has more than 72,000 veins. I hope that impresses you. 72,000 veins. In our body is equal to double the circumference of the earth. That's one human being. Is that mind-blowing?
Easy.
How they measure these things, I have no idea. Well, it seems that in Ayurveda, the belly button is used as a portal to deliver nutrients or medicines into the body. Now we know that all humans have a belly button unless you were born with an umbilical hernia and had to have it surgically repaired, leaving you without a navel. But not every mammal has belly buttons. Kangaroos and platypuses don't have one, but dolphins do. Next time you swim with a dolphin, why don't you check? Belly buttons accumulate a lot of bugs. Some 2,400 different species have been found lurking in the navel. Everybody, yeah. Did you ever find this mysterious things in your belly button? It's not from the lint from your clothes.
I found a tick in my belly button last summer.
Yeah, that's an eye opener. And everybody's belly button bugs are a different composition. Navel lint is a gross mix of fibers, hair, and dead skin cells. You may be wondering, how is the belly button so powerful? It's all about location, location, location. The belly button is near the center of your abdomen and around your center of gravity, also known as your core or your center. That's where people meditate on or do their deep breathing from. It sits over your intestines and major lymph nodes and blood vessels, and it's near your vagus nerve, which is responsible for the rest and digestive functions of the body. Unlike the rest of the abdomen, there is little or no muscle behind the navel, which makes it perfect access point to your belly, your intestines. The rest of the body connects to the belly button by fascial trains that cross right near it. It's also the entry point for the major energy center of your lower abdomen. Navels are important reflexology points that stimulate the whole body. So, how can you harness the power of your belly button? We have known that to lower the temperature for babies, we put a cotton swab with alcohol in the navel. Now we know that you use Orin instead of alcohol. It's much safer and it's much better. Your navel can detect which veins have dried up, and by putting on Orin, those nerves open them. Applying Orin in the navel heals the dryness of the eyes, poor vision, pancreas, heals chapped lips, keeps the face bright, the hair healthier, knee pain, chills, lethargy, pain in the joints, and dry skin. Here's how it works. Now, in there on the book, there's a link to a belly button video on YouTube. I didn't produce that, but you can go there and watch that. Number 1, eliminates stubborn pimples and acne. 2, achieve a glowing face. Hydrates and moistens dry, chapped lips, keeps your intestines moving, removing harmful bacteria and keeping the good. Orin actually works as a mild detox. Improves fertility, works wonders for a cold, flu, and runny nose. When a baby has a stomach pain, put some in their navel, give a gentle massage around the navel a few minutes, the pain will be gone shortly. Good reminder. I could never get enough of Orin. I'll tell you, I'm an Orin addict. If this was an Orin recovery group, I would fail. I couldn't do it. It eases pain, menstrual cramps, reduces types of joint pain, strengthens bones. Patients use UT with their children every night at bedtime. Parents do, the more enlightened ones. Relieves upset stomach, bloating, nausea, digestive problems. Improves blood flow to the nervous system. Enhances immune system. Heals constipation. Builds a strong digestive system. Relaxes arteries, veins, lowering blood pressure, stress to the heart. Also helps strengthen and tone the heart muscles. As a diuretic, it removes excess water, salt, toxins, overweight, blood pressure, and digestion. So remember that when people are asking you, well, what should I practice? What kind of topical protocols? When you're giving them the best of the best, drinking, foot soaks, enemas, body massage, include the belly button soak. It's an expectorant that removes mucus from their airways and lungs. Is effective in treating bronchitis, whooping cough, upper respiratory inflammation. And I added number 14, great for treating allergic reactions. Very simple. This is how it works. Cotton ball. Soak it. Stick it in your belly button. Either cover it with a piece of material or something if you want to keep it from dripping all over your belly. I mean, you can keep it that way. Some people will put on a gauze pad, and just leave it there all night. Or if you don't want to, leave it in there for an hour or so if you're taking a nap in the afternoon. Sheena?
Or put a Band-Aid on it and you can wear it all day.
Yeah. I actually think these are better than those transdermal patches. Did you come across those things? People put patches on different joints in different places because they believe it has something that's transferred into the skin, or they put on Niken magnets or whatever. I think this beats them all. I'm a little prejudiced. Okay, any questions about belly buttons? Anybody try it yet?
Yeah, I have.
What'd you notice?
I had it on overnight. Yeah, only once, so I can't make any statements about it yet.
All right, the verdict's not out yet.
No.
Still got research to do. When I was over at the hotel over at that hot springs place, I would come out of the bath and just lay in the sheets and just go to sleep. And so, it's nice to be able to like not having to worry about washing it off or where it lands. I mean, I was in someone else's place. It was a hotel. But it's great to be able to go past the way you normally think about using this urine or what it might touch, etc. So if you ever get a chance to do that, or some people would put plastic underneath their blanket or underneath their sheet so they could keep it on their body all night, or they'll create a whole body compress or put on saran wrap. I mean, we're going to talk about that if we haven't already. Page 111. We're going to talk about evolving Orin, or what I call the evolutionary water theory, urine theory. Keep in mind that Orin contains information and memory of your perfect health and your perfect cells. As the body's health becomes challenged or compromised, it does a system check or self-diagnostics to restore perfect health and balance. Imagine what we can learn from drinking evolving Orin. Here's another paradigm-shifting term to tickle your mind. The terms evolved and evolving have replaced the term aged and aging, previously used in describing maturing Orin, which is a term that Monica came up with. Evolution, by its very nature, is a continuum of growing, learning, and making discoveries. Orin, just like you and I, evolves forever from the moment it arrives and it is collected. According to a definition by Webster's Dictionary, evolution is a process of gradual, peaceful, progressive change or development. Do the words age and Orin bring comfort to your mind or make you feel uneasy in the body? This is why I did that, because terms like aged and aging, people will associate with loss of strength, health, and vitality. Discussing aging brings up images of old people who are sick, hurting, memory going bad, and are dying. So it's a good idea to change out the words that you normally use to see which empowers you and which doesn't. That's why I came up with the term evolutionary or evolving Orin. There was something else I was going to point out. Okay, it was already said. This explains why people feel disgust, taken back when it's suggested they include drinking or applying aged Orin in their UT practices. And that came through, I had that issue, and other people had it as well. They have an aversion because their mind's still associated with something that's old, aging, or can't be as good as the fresh. But the people who've been embracing it and using it, following teachings of Harry and Monica and myself, have found it more powerful and more effective. So you have to weigh in on that one. Any questions?
I heard the other day a word a sophisticated medicine
I like
for,
it.
yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. Who made that one up?
Oh, I forget who I was listening to. I think maybe allegedly Dave, maybe,
Yeah, Dave Murphy.
or yeah. I just heard it on a YouTube, and I really liked it. Sophisticated.
It's sophisticated. Well, sounds very regal. Very sophisticated. I need to change my clothes when I talk about that. Try this when you're talking or writing about aged urine. Hey, Lisa, I'm so glad that you're getting results from drinking your fresh Orin. You may want to try a more potent version of Orin. Brother Sage, the Shivambhu guru, says that evolving Orin is an evolutionary idea. According to his theory, every second your Orin is outside of your body and sits in a container, it is increasing in potency, life force, Shakti, and frequency. All collected Orin comes already activated and immediately begins to enhance and amplify, which is the evolutionary power of your water. Are you drinking common wine, or will you try the ultra refined wine of goddesses and gods? So, as you can tell from this conversation about evolving Orin and many things that we brought to the conversation about this water, is that it is in a category of its own. So, we're attempting to bring it into an understanding of the people we communicate with in a way that it makes sense to them, but we're also understanding that this has infinite potential and the ability to transform our lives in ways we're getting to know every day. So that's why it's difficult for some people who are still thinking that we have to have scientific evidence and proof and peer review in order for them to accept it. When you being real confident and certain of it is enough to transfer to new people.
Mm-hmm.
If Sheena says it's good, I trust her. That's enough for me. I'll try it.
Right.
And you will have people who show up in your life and going, "You look great. Your energy is strong. I like hanging out with you. What you suggest? Well, drink your pee. Trust me." And they don't question it. I get more and more people who do their maiden voyage, first time out, they go to the bathroom, come back in front of a camera. They're having their first experience with somebody over a camera, over a screen. And because they feel right, they're ready, they're called. And people who are called, they don't have a lot of mind talk to sort out. They're fun to be with. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. Actually, the reason why I signed up for this class, I mean, I have the book and I'm doing the things, and always I like to talk to you and I'm inspired. But I have a friend he's a friend of my boyfriend, and I'm shifting at the moment between Germany and Holland. Now he is giving me the chance to work for him, and that's giving me. I don't have another source of income. Now he's an I don't even want to call him naturopath, because what he says is not actually natural, but these are supplements. And he has this biofeedback machine. He is a very good talker and scientific nerd in his area. So, he knows that I'm doing this urine therapy, and he says it's good for kidney things. And I told him about stem cells, and he says these guys are losing it there. And he has a full scientific backup of his story. And then sometimes, I mean, I still stick to what I believe and what I know, but then I'm going into this mode of politeness, or of thinking, well, I don't really want to disappoint him, and I'm trying his CDL or whatever product he has. Actually, basically, recently, what happened, body completely rejected anything, and the only thing that could rescue me or that felt right was to come back to my own source.
Sure.
But and I know that this politeness is an issue, but yeah, well, it's good to have a certain amount of arguments to counter them with. That's why I feel I'm really happy to have signed up for this now and to be discussing it actively.
You get to choose your own battles. which means you either have to step into his world and his way, his view, or his mind, his context of understanding urine, or you give him enough data and research in his language. And we got enough of those government websites to talk about the stem cells in urine. We got plenty of research to back it if that's how you communicate with this guy. And in either case, you can't have an investment in him joining you.
I guess it comes to the point I probably have to let go of or risk that he's not employing me anymore, but I can't buy into his stuff. And basically, if he understood that urine is the better choice, he will never say that because it will bereft him of his very good source of income. You know, he is, I mean, the clients are depending on him because they think it's hype to go there and pay a couple of hundred every other month.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, bless them because they feed me also. It's not my thing, but then it's maybe not my place also. So I guess I have to make that choice. And maybe he still likes me. And I mean, I'm not doing sophisticated things there. Maybe he still will employ me once in a while. And if not, I have to find something else.
In the
But
meantime, walk your talk, show him what this lifestyle is all about,
okay.
and he's
Right.
going to get it. Uh, he's going to get it on another level. It's
Yeah,
going to make sense to him.
you're right. Walk your talk. I just have to stick to it. And great to be with you guys and be over inspired again and again.
Yeah, there's a lot can be transferred without words too.
Yeah, thank you. That's true. Yeah.
I had a reflexology client the other day, and we were talking about different alternative healing, and she loved the treatment, and she says, "Is this all you do?" I said, "I'm so glad you said that." I brought all my books out. I brought up the subject. She bought a book.
Good.
This is fascinating. I got to know about this. So when people are ready, they're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe then, and those are the right people for us.
Yeah, yeah. They don't have a fight. They're not trying to hold on to protect any of their belief systems.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm always open to hear, when I discuss with people, I don't like to project myself into who am I, what I do, and I like to listen to what they come about, and it all makes sense. It does make sense to use herbs and to plant, to drink celery juice or whatever things, and mostly I'm just listening and keeping my mouth shut.
Yeah, yeah, and that's fine. And uh, people are watching.
Hmm.
People are watching. People have noticed that I haven't aged. People are noticing my hair stays dark, and I'll be approaching 70 in a couple of years. I mean, all my
Yeah,
friends are
well,
in their 60s and 70s. They're starting to take notice that they're having trouble keeping up with me. And there are people who've seen me up close that go, "You're skinny, you're thin. Maybe you should eat more
yeah,
protein. You should add more this and more that." I'm going, you know how many major projects I'm doing? I'm on book number 8. I've got 4 being translated. I've got classes. I do a 4-mile hike every day. I'm blah blah blah. I'm going, try to keep up. Try to keep up. Because we're beyond a lot of those things that people relate to in forms of what gives you health and what gives you vitality and strength. And this is a simple approach. Drink of yourself. What a
yeah,
metaphor, huh? Drink
yeah,
in, drink in your essence. Drink in your truth.
yeah.
So we got about 15 minutes, and anybody wants to discuss anything, we can keep it open, or we can keep reading. What would you prefer? Or if it's the kind of day where you got to go early, we can do that. Students get to make a call today.
I
Susan?
just want to clarify I took notes on that. So the sophisticated medicine came from Kate Stillman and Megan McDonald talk. So yeah,
Yeah,
just
I've
want to
had
clarify that.
I've had great interviews with both of them.
Yeah,
Kate does her homework.
yeah, no kidding.
So does Megan, and Megan has put together a urine therapy training course.
Yes, I'm also in that as well.
Yay,
Yay.
yay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn off the recording so we can talk about anything.